What is up, guys? And today gonna be the second part to the biology universal culture. So now my model seems simplistic in a way. I will show you, and it's pretty simplistic, but I think it's not something that people integrate in their minds. Kind of connect multiple areas, kind of any style. But to be honest, a lot of academics don't really do that. It's more like vertical in one lane. So I think that there's a lot of problem with doing that, dismissing the horizontal, when we can see that it has bring some problem in the academia space. Actually, knowing what's real about reality, like what we have seen with a lot of relativist people in our day and age, a lot of blind spot in my sense, with the biology, problem with the race realism. And recently I'm big into phenotype and ancient tribes, just biology, Apro group. I might do a video about that after, maybe more the ancient tribes, how they connect to type. I did a video about the geographic map, that further west you are, more OE, further east, more OI, mountain people, more OI in some sense, kind of go to more kind of place that is kind of cornered, it's more OI, okay, an island possibly more IP, more at the edge, possibly, it depends what edge, but like I talk about that, like a little bit like in the Dune novels, talk about environment, shaping the human in a sense, and we have seen that through history, like the steppe people that have always been invaders, or just a mountain area that is more conservative in some sense, that they become more conservative, or island that is more individualistic and also collective, strangely enough, like Japan. You can see Japan, or the British Isle that has always been more individualistic. So kind of connecting that. But yeah, that might be another video, just opening up a lot of discussion with this video now, that I might do 2 videos after this one about that. But now I really want to concentrate on biology, universal, and culture. That I illustrate in my video about the 4, and I illustrate it with my 4 quadrant. If you can remember, it's more the innate to the biology, to the universals, and the culture is kind of the joining of the two. And I think that's why we have a lot of confusion nowadays with biology, because we kind of conflict the social realm. So big going to the enneagram again, but yeah, so you have the social, you have the SP, you have the SX. So it's more the id of Freud. This one is more the the ego, and this one the super ego. It seems that people in cities go more to the super ego, the social, because they live in cities, so everything is more an abstract. So social is more abstract, it's more an image. While people in the camping, they are more about the SP, the work. So it's more the work in some sense. It's more the work, the self-preservation. So okay, it's more survival alike. So this one is more survival alike. This one is more abstract, image alike. So image, abstract. This one is more survival and work. Practical, maybe more practical, I would say. And this one, it has some survival, interesting stuff. I guess I'm talking more about the selection, and we all have a different style of selectioning, kind of strategies for selection, for a more like a Darwinistic evolution. So, and I think that enneagram, they correlate so much to that, the evolution, the sexual, the self-preservation. This one would be more sexual attraction. It does seem that in the population overall, it's pretty rare to be that upfront, to really be about that upfront. Most people are actually there. I thought it was maybe like 45, 10%. But I think more people in knowing overall, and just like looking to the people that really are very expert in the enneagram, I've come to the conclusion that actually SP are a lot more represented than SO, and I didn't know about that. But yeah, I think SP are maybe 60% of the population, social maybe 30, and XX maybe 10. But now people in the city, they oftentimes, in the political realm, they oftentimes vote liberal, or more closely to the woke ideology that I've seen, and I think it's because of the abstraction, that because they live in city, they're less aware of what is practical and survival. I think that's what has disconnected them. While we seem conservative, realm, it seems to be more attached to survival and work, which also brings a blind spot of the image, the abstract, and what is social. I don't think. I mean, what we have seen throughout history is actually that people that live in city are actually more conservative in ideas. So it seems that the SO is more conservative in ideas, but more liberal in people. So it's more like you can say, I don't know. So that's more the kind of what I've seen globally for cities in histories, in camping too, So, I mean, you can associate it with the city, and this one with the camping. Camping. Fun, not camping, but camping. Oh my god, my English suck ass. But yeah, conservative, liberal. I think that superego makes you more liberal with people, but more conservative with ideas. And I think it's the contrary for the SP overall. There are kind of like people is more like people outside my village, fuck them. But ideas are more becoming about new ideas in my sense than city, because the city is like, okay, that's how it's worked, the green light, red light. While in camping it's more open how it works. It makes sense, huh? Doesn't it? So with ideas. So that's just general, it's not say okay, political worldview will be aligned 100% with this one or this one. Like me, I'm actually SO, and I mean right now I'm you can say I'm more conservative, even though it's kind of bullshit. But yeah, and I think that the sexual is kind of weird with that. So I'm not gonna address this one because this one is kind of always fucking weird. And I have this last on my stack, so it's the one. I mean, most people have this last on their stack actually, but yeah, 10% of people and not have so much sample size of that one, to be honest. But yeah, the SOSP can be correlated a lot with biological strategies. So biological. So you can see that. But the main theme of my videos, with all that rambling, is that biological. Go to the culture. So we can associate in some sense the SP with biological, the SO with the cultural. So they actually interchange with each other. They did that and that, and more dialectic process with that, with also the universal, because actually create kind of the universal with that, which means okay, which representation does hold an isolation of a particular level, and that level is applicable across a lot of the collective. So it's an isolation about a particular level that is applicable to a lot of the collective, and that's where biological meet the cultural. But we have seen recently people saying more the liberal ideology that is more SO, that is kind of say fuck the biological. And we also see some type of SP that yet they're conservative, so they do hold the culture in some sense. They are cultural holders, but the problem is that sometimes they confuse the universal with the culture. So they have some problem there, the conservative, and that's why they cannot really progress in that fashion. That's why they are called collective. So they do hold, and that's really important to hold, because when you say fuck that, you kind of disrupt the dialogical process between universal, biological, and culture. But if you just hold, like the conservative, well, you can progress. So there's a common problem of progression. Even if they do hold, and the culture, they hold the culture, and but no, it's very important. It's very an important role that we have dismissed in our own society to be the culture holder. So we cannot have a progression if we just demonize the biological. But at the same time, the conservative, their problem is that they cannot integrate the universal, the collective, the culture actually, which just because it can only isolate the universal, but they have trouble applying the collective to everything. So they're kind of have a problem with the people in a way. Not ideas, not people, yeah, people. So it's really OI and their holding, but they do progress the dialectic, but the dialectic is kind of reaching out to a place that is not better, you can say, because it cannot communicate with universal very well alone. But yeah. So that might seem complicated, I don't know. I mean, that's actually an old idea that I come back with my new theories, because they're just something that I've seen in the political sphere, and it seems to be a pretty an intense discussion now in the United States, that have a lot of problem with the duality of left and right. But yeah, I might do another video about that. I think I will do it briefly. I think that now that it's fresh on my memory, I will do it, but very briefly. So yeah, so thanks for watching.